So, listen, while I was waiting to edit those videos together for the Trump inauguration thing, while I was waiting for all of that, I was watching some YouTube videos, unexplained mysteries, blah, 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 because that's what I do, right? I love doing it, and every now and then I stumble across something that piques my interest, and then I know I'm being told to look into it. So I clicked on this video, and as soon as the person started talking about this girl, I just thought, oh my God, that poor girl was absolutely 100% telling the truth, and she was labelled as crazy because now, since her death, so much evidence has come out to prove she was telling the truth. Because I had to uncover it myself, do my own investigation to clear my own name, that the evidence is coming from sources that can't be denied. So they're coming from, CIA documents, they're coming from patents, military patents, and, they're coming from sources and evidence, like government websites and all of that can't be denied. Like the Scottish police have this technology. It's admitted. It's on their government websites. It's all there. Everyone's admitted that this stuff is there and it's been there, and that they have the World Economic Forum, I think it is, talk about it. It's not the World Health Organization, or is it NATO? It's one of them. It's one of the weefers and hoofers where they openly admit, we can make people look crazy. We can change the way their body moves and all that sort of thing. So the evidence can't be denied in court because it's coming from the people who created the technology, who use the technology, who admit to using the technology. And this kind of ties into the whole Trump inauguration thing. What I'm trying to say is in that coffee cup. And I just find it a little bit spooky because that's my life. That's why I love what I do. I love my supernatural life. I love being a gatekeeper. I love being a high priestess. I love this life. If I'm not with a man who doesn't love this life with me, then I'm perfectly happy being single, because I don't ever want to have to explain myself to any man ever. Like, if he doesn't get me straight away, if he's not at least doing what I do, or at least loves what I do and is grateful for what I do, and loves everything about what I am, and blah blah blah, if he's not like that coming into it, then I'm perfectly happy being single, because I'm not stopping having this kind of life for anything in the world. So I had to remember her name. Erin Valenti, the girl that went missing, and made those erratic calls. Nobody's questioned how she was perfectly fine until she went to, where was it, the desert, where she went to meet that friend, and it was after meeting the friend that she started acting weird. Like, she was talking uncontrollably and, sounding psychotic and blah, blah, blah. This is all done by design to make people look crazy so that they can force them to medicate, so that they can then have them say, like, they're not fit for purpose, let's euthanize them. Because these are the people who are thinking outside the box. These are the people who are a threat to the pharmaceutical industry and to, like, the technology industry. When she was saying about, it's all just a game, living outside the matrix and stuff, well, now that all of this stuff has come out, she was telling the truth. and they killed her to shut her up using that technology that they use, which they might be going to try and use on Donald. You know, the watches, those health watches, the Bill Gates ones, the mobile phones, they can blow people's mobile phones up. There's so many things that they can do now using this technology that people are allowing to have in their phones and on their health watches and their house towers and all of that, like it's all there, so that they can switch you on and off at will. And she was telling the truth. Maybe she was like invited to make the app, or maybe she stumbled across something like I did. But she was telling the truth, and now we know that they've all come in and admitted that they have this technology where they can tell your brain what to do and tell your body what to do and make you go out and act crazy. And that it's also that they can get you locked up, get you medicated, get you euthanized, get rid of you. Because you're the creative empathic geniuses of the world. You're the ones who are here to turn darkness to light. You're the ones that are here to help us step into the new world, the world of, you know, the age of Aquarius, the age of, you know, where anything is possible and dreams can come true, and you can be who you want and what you want. Just be happy and let's all get along. You know, peace, love, light, happiness. Go back to having organic fruits and vegetables, and where peaches taste like peaches and honey tastes like honey, and you know, everything's bountiful and the flowers are growing everywhere and farmers are out, you know, tilling their crops, and you know, big fat happy cows, and everybody's got what they need to be happy, and they're all looking out for each other. They're killing those people off. And they silenced her, and they used the technology that she was saying was out there to shut her up. I'm telling you now. And it's all connected to the Donald Trump thing, because whatever I saw in that coffee cup, it's something unassuming. I was trying to explain it on X. When I'm like, if I put myself into Donald, wherever the right side of his face, the right side of his body, when he's looking straight out, so at 12 o'clock, between 12 o'clock and 3 o'clock, so quarter past, to his right, to the right of his movement, that's where it is. But it's something that can watch his movement. It's something that is there to watch his movement. It's something unassuming because it's supposed to be there. And it's just got like this what it's watching, which is Donald. When I look at it from its perspective, it's supposed to be there watching him. It could be a light. It could be like a transmission tower. It could be a camera, like a news camera. It could be, but it's was someone purposefully angled it to look at him from his 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock, from his first quarter quadrant of wherever his body movement is. I don't know how it's been built. Like, I don't like, it's going to have to be looked at carefully, but there would be people there that if they stand to the left of wherever it is his movement is going to be before tomorrow, if they can get there, and like, okay, so because obviously you've got it planned by now, we're going to, you know, arrive here at this time and move him there to there, and you know, I'm sure you've got that figured out. So the person would be, if you take them there and they pretend or have like a body double of him, a stand-in of copying his movements to his left, standing on where his left would be. I reckon as soon as they got in, I want to say, it's like I feel like they would be automatically pulled to the right anyway, automatically pulled to look to his right anyway. And then it's like, I don't know if something's going to catch their eye or they're going to feel it in their gut, which is why I keep thinking the First Lady, because she's a Taurus. So she'll feel it in her gut. She'll feel it in her body to move to his right anyway, because her twin is Scorpio. So if she could do this, I reckon, or someone who's trained to read body language or something, someone who's trained to automatically go with how their body reacts to people and energy. I don't know. His wife would be perfect, to be honest, I've got to tell you. I feel like she would automatically be moved because she's the wife and she's she's the mother as well. So she's like his ultimate guardian angel. And being a Scorpio, she can dig into that occult intuitive side, because we're attracted to death. Unfortunately, I'm trying to save his life here, so you just got to bear with me. I think she would be automatically pulled and something's going to catch her eye, and then I feel like if she got close enough to it, keeping her back far enough, she could say, go there, point and see where that thing is with the blah, blah, blah. And then I think they could send someone up and they will look behind it. And that's when something's going to be off. Something's wrong. Something's out of place. A coffee cup might be standing on the back of a thing, or like I said, a phone might be, like a mobile phone might be pointed up, taped to a camera lens, or I don't know. It's just, it's meant to be there. It was physically placed there. It's not something that was there before setting up for the inauguration. It was physically put in place, so it can be moved, it can be taken down, it can go in and out undetected. I don't know, are there dogs that can be trained to sniff out wires that aren't meant to be somewhere, or whatever it is? Energy goes into it, electricity, energy, something is fed into it, and what its purpose is then does it and feeds it back out. And what it feeds it back out to can also see above that. So there's something watching from above, watching the thing that's transmitting what it's feeding back, and then it's almost like waiting for a signal, or waiting for the signal, or waiting for the right time. Which is why, and I'm not saying that it is, I'm just saying, like, because his arm was raised and some of the flowers were like smashed off in the cup. So don't let him, if you can't find this thing that I'm talking about, don't let him raise his arms. Especially if he's got his Bible in his hand, like, don't let him raise his arms. And I might be completely wrong, and I really hope I'm wrong. But if I'm right, then we could maybe, we've got a good few hours to look for it. before tomorrow, because we need to get him. The main objective is to get him to the end of tomorrow, and we are, because that's what the chrysanthemums are for, letting us know that there's going to be, that there's longevity and that there's happiness, and it's going to end in celebrations and that. So this is a caution. It's either a caution or it's something that can be completely avoided. I just don't think they're going to be obvious this time. I think the means that they tried before were possibly diversions for the main event, the just in caser. So just please be careful. And with that, Erin Valenti, she was telling the truth, and she apparently died of quote unquote natural causes. Funny that, because they can trigger things like brain aneurysm, strokes, heart attacks. They can even trigger like cancers, like fast moving cancers, blood clots, like that sort of thing. They can trigger all that sort of stuff. They have the technology for it. They've admitted it. It's no secret anymore. It's just interesting that there's a few people that I can think of just off the top of my head that just so happen to own this kind of technology. So it all ties back to the same people, really, doesn't it? Which is why I keep going back to that Hillary Clinton dream with the cameraman, and she was spitting the venom, and it bounced back and shot her in the head. The venom bounced back off the camera. It's in the Trump inauguration. The link for it, for that dream, is in the Trump inauguration dream. So Erin Valenti was 100% telling the truth. And I think, unfortunately, she got silenced for something that she'd uncovered that she didn't want to be a part of. And she got accused of being crazy, because that's what they do. They have to shut the innovators and the thinkers and the saviours of tomorrow, the ones who are here to do good with their knowledge and their technology and that. They're trying to shut all of them up, because they're the ones that were sent here to save the world from the ones trying to shut them up. So she was telling the truth, and she was a victim. She was murdered by the same people who don't want Donald Trump to be president. Which tells me that he's a victim of a lot more than what, because I keep going back to the fact that a lot of the stuff that he says, people keep saying it doesn't sound like him, like he's completely changed. It's not him. That's not what he promised. He's gone back on his word. He's a traitor. That's not Donald. That's not Donald. That is not Donald John Trump. You don't go 70-something years or 60-something years being known for being like a brutally honest but hardworking, dedicated father, American patriot, blah, 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 to then all of a sudden being the opposite of everything you built your reputation on. You don't just suddenly change that overnight. And the way that he's, people are noticing the change in him, and it's like, well, yeah, because they have that technology to do that, and it's there in plain sight. We've got the World Economic Forum videos and the CIA videos and the FBI videos and the COP videos, like it's all there. The NATO, the UN, like it's all there. That's all in plain sight. They've admitted it. And they're putting my Donald in a position where they're going to try and point something at him at some point and trigger something that is going to make him either look like he's crazy, so they can say, haha, you mega idiots, you voted for a loony, you said it was Biden that was crazy, but look at him. Or they're gonna like give him make it look like natural. Oh, he had a heart attack. Oh, he had a stroke. Oh, he had a this. Um, if he's been given any phones, any watches, if he's been given anything as a gift under the guise of his health or better technology or faster technology or innovative or whatever, like I really hope that he can. People need to get this stuff out of their houses. People need to be ensuring that laws get passed where no company and no government has the right to enforce surveillance and the collection of your DNA, the collection of your data, that like free will. There needs to be a free will law that every country on earth signs, to be honest, that says that no government and no company, no conglomerate, no lawmaker, no president, no prime minister, no king, no queen, no nothing has the law above the people when it comes to free will. That if they choose to live that way, it's fine, but if they choose not to live that way, you can't enforce it on them. It is unfair. She's had her life taken. She's had her reputation smeared. She's dead. She can't defend herself. So clearly she's come to me because of Donald, because of, like obviously she's dropped in my lap for a good reason. Nothing happens by coincidence. And yeah, she can't defend herself, and so I'm going to defend her for her. And if it helps protect Donald Trump, then so be it. But if I get accused of the same thing, and I have, and if they try and do it again, I will be able to defend myself this time because I've already got the evidence there ready to go from when I had to do my own investigation to clear my own name. So you see how this works? We're all working together, but they don't want people like us all saving each other. And I'm here to save the children. I've got to think about making sure that the kid versions of us get to be healthy adult versions of us, so that they know how to protect themselves and, harness their gifts in a way that never attracts attention from anyone with negative and dark intentions. Because our gifts are not supposed to be used as weapons. Unless we have to defend ourselves. Because we're the Quantum Menace Mutant Legion. We're the mutants. We're the ones that have the abilities and the skills that don't require billions of dollars worth of investment and, trillions spent in development, because we are who we are. We is who we is. And we don't need any of that. And so we're their biggest threat. And with us out of the way, we can't change the way they fly into space. With my rocket launch pad system, can't have things like that about, because it's all natural, it's all reusable, it's all recycled, it's all the stuff that saves money. We're the ones that come along that help humanity save money and make money in a healthy, constructive way, not in a controlling, destructive way, where you've got to, sell your bodies or sell your mind or sell your ideas for a pittance of what they're worth. We're the ones that, we're the rebels in the science and tech industry. We're the trailblazers, and we're the ones that they need to shut up. So we're the ones that get called crazy. I saw so many people in there with PhDs and, bachelor degrees and all of that, like really, really smart people that were labelled as crazy simply because they either spoke the truth, they had influence over like a movement of truth, or they were coming up with ideas in that would have been too radical for the industry to handle, because it's all about control, and they controlled that poor girl to death. And she is 100% telling the truth, and everything that she said, including her erratic, unexplainable behaviour, can all be explained by pointing you to the videos where the people themselves admit, oh, that's what we do with them, and this is how we use it, and here's the patent, and here's the CIA admitting who they use it on and how they do it, and yada yada, like it's all there. But the thing is, because she was labelled by the doctors in the mental health industry as being mentally unstable, because she had that stigma, nobody even dared look into her case to see if she was telling the truth. They just all took their word for it and labelled her as crazy. So now I can defend her and say, no, actually, she was telling the truth. And she died terrified and heartbroken because nobody believed her, and she had no way of explaining to anyone what was going on until me. So my impromptu coffee cup reading was not so impromptu. It was obviously all meant to happen at the same time, because it's no coincidence that the first video I clicked on while I was editing that inauguration coffee cup reading, the first video and the first topic was her. I'll put a link of the video I was watching. Was about her, and it immediately piqued my interest, and I thought, okay, so it's linked to the coffee cup reading. So I'm just putting it out there that Erin Valenti was innocent and 100% telling the truth. Because now you look at the whole China thing. See, when she was saying about stepping out of the matrix, talking about the matrix, well, that TikTok argument, that's exactly what she's talking about. People went over to Red Note in China, had their minds blown open, realizing that their own government had been lying to them this whole time about China and, how they've been forced to struggle and stuff. That's exactly what she was talking about. That's the matrix. When they shut down TikTok, it was to stop people from, it was to control people from getting information out there. But what it inadvertently did, it backfired. Oh, the Hillary Clinton, the venom hitting the screen and shooting her in the head. Okay, so it backfired. So it sent them over to Red Note, which is also apparently controlled by the same people. Vanguard, is it? Or it's one of those ones. It's one of those ones that Red Note is owned by. But what it did was it put the Chinese in contact with the Americans, and it woke Americans up to the truth, and helped them step outside the matrix. So that rage that you're getting all over social media from Americans saying, you mean to tell me that I'm working 4 jobs and, blah, 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 and in China they've been doing it, and we were told to believe that the China, that kind of rage, that's the people stepped out of the matrix, and that's what that poor girl was talking about. That Erin Valenti, we're all just in the matrix. Like, she would have been finding out things like that long before it ever hit social media, because they still had things like TikTok. So they shot themselves in the head there by shutting down TikTok. It sent them over to Red Note, where the truth came out. And now they're waking up. Well, that's them stepping out of the matrix. But they're trying to put people back in the matrix by coming out with things about Donald Trump that aren't true. They keep saying these things, and he keeps saying these things, and it's just it doesn't sit right. It's not true. And I just feel like there's gonna be some sort of gotcha moment where then everybody wakes up and steps outside the matrix. Oh my God, it was all because of this. Oh my God, that made sense. So you mean to tell me this whole time I've been thinking this, and it turns out it's because I was watching it through a specific channel or a specific news thing, and they use that technology there. It's something like that. It's something like that, but that's what she was talking about. Americans waking up to the truth about China was Americans stepping out of the matrix. That's the matrix, and that's what she was talking about, and she got called crazy for telling the truth just like I did. So she's jumped in to help me, to vindicate me, to bring truth and justice to my story, and in return I now have the evidence, because I've got it all ready to go for when I take it all to court, to prove she was telling the truth, so I can clear her name as well. And her and I working together, hopefully with his mum and all the mums and the chrysanthemums, my mum, my mum, the one that taught me how to do the readings. My sister was mentioned, all mums. My sister died so that her baby could be given life, so all the mums have come to watch out for Donald Trump, watch over Donald Trump. So he's got the heavenly mum brigade. But yes, Erin Valenti. I'll put the link in the description box below. But I think that people like her are owed a proper investigation, and people like her are owed a public apology. And any of her friends and family that believed any of that stuff, you should be ashamed of yourselves. I know how terrified she would have been at not being believed. I've been there, but I was lucky enough to survive it. So now I get to speak out on behalf of all of the ones that didn't survive it, and all the ones who won't, until we can stop it and get laws changed to stop allowing governments and companies and pharmaceutical industries and that to force their will upon people. Every country in the world that has like a constitution, an amendment, a Magna Carta, declaration, there needs to be a law passed before the first of any law where it says that no government and no company and no single individual shall have the right to force will or control over the life of another through their identity, through their health, through their means of making money, their means of transport, all of it. Just put it out there and let people decide for themselves. Because that's the only way we're going to stop it. But the only way we're going to stop it is when we get the right people put into power. So not anyone here, where I am in the UK. You need to put people in power who they're able to play the devil's advocate, but they're able to help people find balance in the decisions they make, giving them full control over the decisions they make. Like, for example, the vaccines. Look, okay, they've released another one. There's vaccines, but this company is offering their trial. It's a trial. These are the side effects. If it works, we can study it. You'll be helping people. If it doesn't work, we can study it. You'll still be helping us. like that sort of thing. But you don't have to be a part of any of it. You can just say no, thank you, and we'll be like, okay, thank you, that sort of thing. Or you don't even have to listen. Just go about your business, and if you get sick, take some zinc, take some ivermectin, because that seems to be like the cure for everything at the moment. And that fender bender mender mender mondamin, whatever it's called, it seems to be the thing that fixes everything. So maybe just give everyone on the planet a dose of that. Give them the choice. But yeah, there needs to be a law passed, the will of the people. Give people free will. That free will has to be the law that sits above everything. And let it be up to the individual themselves by their deeds and their actions to take full responsibility for said deeds and actions. If you break the law, you'll be held accountable by the law. But if you're accused of breaking the law, you have the right to defend yourself before you're put in jail. If you're accused of being crazy, you have the right to an investigation to clear your name before they even consider putting you anywhere. Unless, I mean, obviously there are some people that need to be in there. I'm talking about the ones like her and I, who were just, someone said, oh, they're crazy, and everyone went, oh, okay, without any investigation. Without, she wasn't even given time to defend herself. Nobody believed her. You don't get people with minds like that, with lives like that, with that kind of creative genius like that suddenly become crazy overnight, or in an instant, or after one meeting with a friend in the desert or wherever it was, and then suddenly act like they're having a stroke and become erratic and start talking about the Matrix and blah blah blah. Like, they're red flags. She was throwing up so many red flags that people didn't even, they just assumed she was acting crazy because she'd gone crazy, and not because she was made to look crazy and forced to act crazy. And I'm not saying that's necessarily what happened to me, but I was drugged, and I was like gaslit and forced into being suppressed and boxed in to be shut down and silenced. If they couldn't kill me, then make me look so crazy, nobody would ever want to take me seriously once I start putting my work out there again, which is what happened, and then shut me down by making me have to prove I'm here legally every month so that they can control my money and control my movements and control my food and all of that. It's all about the suppression of the rebels, suppressing the rebels, the ones who gather to have the voice to insist on change. They turn that stuff on them and make them act crazy. So then they start fighting amongst each other, the Christians and the Muslims, and they, get them all turning on each other. So you're not focusing on the fact that they're setting up these weapons and setting up these IDs and setting up these things to have a reason to wipe you out should a few people decide you're not worthy of life on this planet anymore. So to get rid of the population, we're going to start with the crazies and the rebels and the babies and the children and the ones young enough to be able to have lots of babies and children. And the rest will just make them fertile so they can't have children through the vaccines and all the food, like the cow fart milk and all of that. It's all designed to make you infertile and give you cancers and dementia and all of that to kill you off, so that they haven't, well, look, a waste of space, kill them off. But they're creating the reason why you would be considered a waste of space. And people are just blindly walking into it. That's the Matrix. They're the people still in the Matrix. And what she was talking about is that the Matrix has come down now since she was killed. So she deserves an investigation and she deserves an apology. She deserves to have her reputation cleared, just like I'm doing, like I'm fighting. So her and I are in it together, and if that coffee cup reading was anything, then hopefully we can protect Donald tomorrow as well. They'll know what to look for during his presidency, because I feel like it's like waiting for the signal. It's like someone's going to give the final go ahead, like do it now, or they'll decide not to do it. But there would be a plan to do it at some point. I want to say within the first, it's like wanting to make it look as natural as possible. Died in his sleep, had a heart attack. Then people say, well, he did say he had the first vaccine, but not the second. It's got to be the vaccine, blah, blah, blah. But whatever it is, as well, see, that's the other thing. Whatever it is that they plan to do, want to do, think they're going to try and do, it's all going to come back on them and backfire on them because of that Hillary Clinton venom dream and the coffee cup reading. That's exactly what it means. It's all going to backfire. Anything they attempt is all going to backfire and just point fingers straight back at them, because all roads keep leading to the same people, because the elites, they don't know the new world, so they live in the old world. So it's a constant repeating cycle of doing the same thing. They just up the technology as they go, but it always comes back to them because of our weaponized oughts, which is another reason why they want to control social media and the internet, because it's how the weaponized oughts come up with all the evidence and facts and investigations and stuff that then I get a hold of, where then I get to put my case together and put forward my argument to prove that my science is real and that it's all real and that I was telling the truth too. So the meek shall inherit the earth, remember? Not the rich, not the billionaires, not even the geek. Not the tech geek. Don't they call them techno billionaires or whatever? It's not the tech geek. It would be the actual geek. But yeah, the meek shall inherit the earth, and we are the meek. Or they think we're meek, which is why it's us they try to control the most. Because we're not meek, we're just seen as a lower class of them because we're not millionaires and billionaires and tech giants and all of that. We're not any of those, but we're the ones who stand on our little soapbox and get enough out there that gets enough attention of the right people that might just be enough to create a murmur and a movement that becomes sweeping change across the land that they will no longer be able to control the path of, because they fear change, whereas we are the change agents. They fear the change agents because they fear change, because if change happens, it's because they didn't plan it. Because everything they do is step-by-step robotic AI planned, down to the letter, down to the T, constantly repeating the same. They are the glitch in the matrix because it's the constant argument, the same diversion tactic. It's the same thing. They just up the technology as the years go by. But it's still the same. Smear campaign, the whole trans thing, do this, do that. It's a vaccine, it's a virus, it's a science, it's the same thing over and over and over and over again, because they're not allowed to be a part of the great change, which is the change in dynamic between who has control over who. And in the new world, no one has control over anyone. It's all based on free will. You deal with the consequences of your actions, but no one will have the right to control how another person thinks, feels, acts, what they eat, how they make money. Obviously, got to keep within the laws and stuff. But yeah, so that poor girl was a martyr for a lot of Americans and for a lot of people that in the future I'll be able to save at the foundation, through the foundation. I'll be saving kids like her, which is why I can only do it in countries that don't have business dealings with certain people, and there's not many of them left in in this world, because I have to protect the children enough that I need to know that they're going to be around technology that isn't going to try and force them to harm themselves or run around with a gun or, take drugs or do something stupid. I need to know that they are free to act and feel and be exactly who they were born to be and not who they're going to be told to be, because that's this tech. It tells you what to think and feel and act, and it turns you into sheep and fodder and experiments and blah blah blah. So that poor girl was a martyr, and she deserves an apology. So I hope I did her name and her reputation justice.